Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this beautiful Sunday morning. It's peaceful, it's quiet, just a bit of a gentle breeze blowing which could buffet the mic. What I'll try and do is go on a walk and talk. I'm here at Nelson Bay. As you can see, it's Nelson Bay Marina. I'm just going to go for a little bit of a walk and talk and take you through a book summary. And today's book summary is entitled A Mind for Numbers by an author named Barbara Oakley. We had a lot of rain last night. It pelted down here at Nelson Bay. It was sheeting down. It was lightning, thunder, some massive lightning strikes out on the water. Don't know what it was striking, but it was really dramatic and a little bit scary, I've got to admit. But it was a cleansing, a cathartic moment, and as you can see today, it's a lot calmer than what it was yesterday, and hopefully it'll turn out to be a beautiful day. So the book today, Mind for Numbers, is all about getting our head around what it takes to be good at using numbers and having numbers in your life. And the author kicks off with an observation just to get us into the mood, where he says that if you protect your routine, if you protect your routines, eventually that routine and those routines will protect you. So it's all about having some order in our lives, and this order which is quite useful. So the first formal point to come out of this book, and I'll just go for a walk and talk, is that learning the skills of focused thinking and being focused, or having the skills of diffused thinking, will be an advantage and will enhance your ability to understand complex concepts. Because in our lives we're surrounded by complexity, which is really difficult to deal with. We're all good at dealing with the simple things, with the things which are easy to solve, but a lot of the problems that we face in our lives are because of complexity, not knowing where to start. So there are two types of people, I guess, in the world. There are big picture people, or there are detailed oriented people. So people who can see the big picture, and there are others who are really good at detail. So depending on what sort of person you are, will also determine how good you are at dealing with complexity, challenging times. The author then goes on to say that to be good at maths and science, you need to be both. You need to be both a big picture person, and you also need to be a detail oriented person. So a little bit like an eagle, be able to soar nice and high and to see everything around you, but to also be able to zoom in on the detail and be able to pounce on the morsels of information, to be able to, I guess, create outcomes in your life. So there are two types of thinking styles according to this author. One is a focused thinking style, and the other one is a diffused thinking style. And it's basically big picture, or detailed is another way of describing it. So in focused mode, when we're in focused mode, we can recall information that is in our mind. Whereas when you're in diffused mode, it helps us understand a new concept. Because we really need to open up, be able to open up our mind and our thinking style to take in new information and new perspectives. The author then goes on to say that sleeping is an important part of being able to be a good thinker and a good learner, because believe it or not, and I just learnt this now for the first time, but sleeping is important because it allows us to clear out the toxins, the many toxins that build up in our brains the longer that we're awake. So when we're awake for long hours and we're shoveling, calories into our bodies, and we're shoveling alcohol and sugars and all of the other stuff, coffee and all of the other stuff into our system, what we're basically doing is we're building up toxins in our brains. But the good news is that sleeping allows our brain to go into repair mode and to remove those toxins and to clear those toxins out, to enable us to be clear-headed and ready to take on the world's problems again the very next day. So that's why it's, I don't know about you, but I know for myself, I'm a morning person, and I absolutely love getting up early in the morning and doing my 5 a.m. clubs, and reading and taking notes and thinking and praying. All of those things come easier to me first thing in the morning, and throughout the day I get less effective, and it becomes less optimal when it comes to dealing with problems, which also probably suggests that the best time to solve your most complex problems are first thing in the morning after a good sleep. So the second formal point to come out from this book, from this author, is it's about the type of work that we do. Outcome-based work isn't as powerful as focusing on and enjoying the process of learning. So maths and science is a path which is built one brick at a time, adding the unknown to the known. One of my favourite sayings that I've picked up over the years is that the whole learning process, the process of learning, is the ability for one to add the unknown to the known. So what you know is the basis for what you're able to learn. So if what you know is incorrect, is not accurate, then what happens then is you're in a challenged position in order to add to it, and that's why we have confirmation biases. And it's important to be discerning with what you absorb and what you take in to your mind, because it's going to be the basis of future knowledge. So what you learn becomes a hook on your brain, which is able to hook and attract other information which is pertinent to what you've learnt. So that's why we need to be careful and to steer clear of to steer clear of misinformation and disinformation. And we've seen it come to the fore now with all the anti-vaxxers and the COVID-19 pandemic, where people are out there pushing their agendas with misinformation and disinformation. But what it does is it creates a platform, creates hooks for further disinformation and misinformation to be added, given that learning is the attaching of the unknown to the known. So if you know rubbish, if you know crap, then the more crap that you get fed, the more you're going to be attaching it to the known. And that's why I say that the anti-vaxxers need to do a lot of unlearning, because they've been sucked in and they've been manipulated. They've learnt a lot of things which of course are incorrect and are not based on science, but based on emotion and manipulation. So they have a lot of work to do to unlearn the rubbish that they've learnt. And just like they've learnt it brick by brick, according to this author, they also need to unlearn it brick by brick, which is going to be difficult for a lot of them, because what they are now facing is a level of confusion, because they no longer know the difference between right and wrong, and they've been, I guess, taken for fools. So the author then goes on to say that it's important to do the homework. If you're going to be a learner, if you're going to conquer the complexities in your life, you need to do it brick by brick. You need to be a learner, and you need to learn day by day. So it needs to be an incremental process where you're attaching the unknown to the known and making sure that what you know is accurate and correct. So you need to convince yourself to do the homework, as it's all about the process, where one thing leads to another and the learning evolves over time. You cannot bluff maths and science. You need to do the work. You need to understand the concepts. You need to understand the formulas. You need to apply the knowledge. That's what the author is saying. And the third formal point to come out of this book from this author is that although you may hate them, tests are important learning experiences. We need to be tested all the time, because unless you're put under pressure, unless there is some time limit and time commitment that you need to get ready for, then you're not going to be pushed to learn something. And it's only the things that you can learn and recall under pressure are the things that, of course, that you truly understand. Testing yourself is important to learning, because learning is enhanced when you learn something that is going to be tested. One of the things that I do, and one of the things that I say, and one of the things that I basically reflect in Jim's 5 a.m. club, is that I learn things in order to teach them. I learn things in order to present them. So I'll go through, I'll read the book summary, take some notes, and what I thoroughly enjoy doing is teaching as I'm going. So here we are at Nelson Bay Harbour. We'll just continue walking here, and this book also shows us that being tested, being subjected to tests, of course, while it increases anxiety and it does a spike in our cortisol, what it does is it can cause us to go into freeze, flight or fight mode, which could cause us to block our ability to learn and to recall. I was speaking to a guy the other day, and he was saying that he did years ago, he did a comedy class at a club, and the doorman told him that he's going to freeze and forget everything that he was going to say. And lo and behold, as he kicked off his routine, he forgot what he was going to say. And in that moment of silence and embarrassment, he said to the audience that bloody security guard over there said that I was going to freeze and forget my routine, which I've bloody just done, which caused everybody in the room to erupt in laughter. And just that little time that he had available to him was enough for him to remember his routine, and he got through his routine and everything worked out in the end. But it just goes to show that when you're put under pressure, when all of us are put under pressure, we can experience anxiety, which leads to a spike in cortisol and adrenaline, which causes us to freeze, fight or flight. So the way to get around it is easy, really easy. according to this author. And the way to get around it is to do lots and lots of tests, to continually test yourself. And that's why a lot of kids who go to coaching colleges get to do lots of tests, get to do the same problems over and over again, but in different circumstances, looking at it from a different perspective, but all trying to achieve the same sort of outcome. So by doing more tests, we learn how to be calm, and it will help us rationally think under pressure, so that we become pressure tested and being able to deal with whatever happens in real time without stressing. So I guess that's what we do also in sport. I know that in martial arts, we used to do drills all the time, simple drills. Block, punch, block, punch, step, block, punch. And whilst it looks boring and it feels boring to some, the important thing is what we're learning there is that the automatic response when under pressure is to do the simple things without having to think about them. And that's why, as the author says here, we need to do lots of tests in order to become better at maths and science, or whatever we are doing in our lives. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this beautiful morning. We've just gone through a book summary entitled A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley. And I think I'll head back to the car and go to another location and do another vlog on this beautiful morning. So thank you once again, and we'll chat again, hopefully, and get through today, get through the week, and continue where possible to be partners in each other's growth and development, where we can live, learn, and pass it on. Take care everybody, yasas, and bye for now. Cheers.